Hello and welcome to GentingBet's preview of Wednesday's Champions League fixtures, round 2 with me, Summer Hunter, as well as GentingBet's ambassador and world football expert, Guillem Balague.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Sembra.
Hello again. So, why don't we quickly run through the 3 games that you've chosen to preview for Wednesday's fixtures. We have some very interesting ones indeed. Lille lining up against Chelsea, Valencia hosting Ajax, and last but not least, another absolute zinger of a game, Barcelona against Inter Milan. So, why don't we save that one for last? Start off with Lille versus Chelsea, who you feel is going to walk away with those 3 points.
Yes, I went to Stamford Bridge to see Chelsea-Valencia, and I saw a Chelsea side that in the first half they dominated, they created chances, but they just look like they will miss, in some big games, that extra factor of a striker that can score when those chances get converted. I know Tammy Abraham is able to do that, and he will do it regularly in his career, but in the big games, he perhaps can disappear. It's normal, he's only 21, 22, so second half, it was all Valencia. They actually came off the blocks with more intensity, and they didn't create a lot, but they just needed the defense to switch off once, as they did for the free kick of Rodrigo and the goal. And after that, just Chelsea couldn't come back. There was the extra factor, the quality factor. It wasn't there to be seen. So they now know in a team, in a group where everybody's going to take points off everybody. Ajax beat Lille 3-0, but then Valencia won away. Now Valencia play Ajax, and as we'll hear in a minute, I think Ajax can beat Valencia at Valencia. But Chelsea they need to win. They are a solid team. They are very well organised. I know that Lille haven't done terribly badly. In fact, they won 3-4 games already this season. Badly against Ajax, but in the league, without Nicolas Pepe.
Exactly.
So you've still got a team that in Renato Sanchez has got certainly quality. They spend money, and in Icone, Jonathan Icone, a guy that you should keep an eye on. Forward, he's only 21, but he's got a lot of pace. He hasn't scored yet, but he gets himself in dangerous positions, likes to go 1v1 with players. Could surprise Chelsea maybe if they're not alerted. But all in all, I just feel that Chelsea have got enough to beat Lille, even though it's away, because a defeat could actually leave a very difficult position, Chelsea, in these group stages of the Champions League.
Well, as you said, this is a group where anybody can beat anybody, where points can be dropped or picked up all over the place. We're going to move on to the next one, Valencia versus Ajax, which he's already told you, really, you think that the Dutch outfit are going to take this one at Mestalla, which is a big deal because it's a very difficult ground to play at.
Yeah, we were talking about teams that just off camera, really interesting conversations off camera. Some of them will get mentioned here, but we were saying there are teams that sometimes do well in the Champions League and then they just get their players take it away, like Monaco did in previous years. But Ajax have been lucky enough to actually, in a way, to keep most of the players. They wanted them to stay 1 extra year because they could have left 2 years ago, and that extra year meant that they went to the semi-finals of the Champions League. But without De Ligt, they've got Lisandro Martinez, a centre-back that is actually impressed, even can play as a centre midfield if necessary.
Keeping things really tight at the back.
Keeps tight in the back. I think they concede 1 goal per game at the moment, but the whole team's still structured in the same way. Without De Jong, the midfield perhaps doesn't have that figure of that reference where everybody gives him the ball and he does something by keeping it or just breaking up defences. Perhaps they haven't got that, but you still got Ziyech scoring, Tadic scoring, Neres who's done a lot of damage in wide areas. You still got a very good team, Van de Beek as well, who hasn't agreed everything with Real Madrid. Zidane decided that they didn't need him, so he stayed at Ajax. So all in all, still this is a team that plays as a team. Danger comes from all over the park, and Valencia, you know this very well. They're not at the best, aren't they?
No, they absolutely are not. Very worried about Valencia, actually. There's been a lot of drama over the last few months. There's a lot to talk about, but obviously not enough time to discuss all of it. But most notably, they decided to sack the manager with whom they won the Copa del Rey. And finished 2 years consecutively in the Champions League, and they've decided to bring in Alberto Celades, who is a manager who doesn't have any top flight experience on the bench anywhere.
No, but, and his debut, goes to Stamford Bridge and beats Chelsea, and you think, right, but then draws against Leganés. He wants to change the side, and this is the important thing here. He doesn't believe in counter-attacking, defending counter-attacking, but that's the natural reaction of the side, a side that is very much a Marcelino side,
Yes.
The previous manager. He wants the team to dominate, and they've got players that can do that in a 4-3-3 formation, more linked to, say, Barcelona than the Valencia of old, because generally Valencia have been about absorbing pressure and counter-attacking. There's still a transition to be made. Guedes is missing,
Yes.
and should be one of the top stars of the side. Rodrigo's doing well for them. Parejo always doing well. Just generally, this Valencia side, you don't see a team that when he goes on the pitch, they just have got a belief and understanding of everything they have to do, because right now they are in transition, and Ajax can take advantage of that.
Well, talking about transition, why don't we have a look then at Barcelona lining up against Inter Milan, because I think Barcelona is another team, even though you feel that they are going to beat the Italian outfit, they are in a bit of transition at the moment themselves.
Yeah, crisis you can call it as well.
I was trying to say it nicely,
No, but
it's true. It's more of a crisis.
Because it doesn't matter how many victories they get in this VC period, but remember, they lost against Granada. This was away they haven't won. At home it's a different story perhaps, but against the big sides, I feel that there is a lot missing with Barcelona right now. And that has to do with Messi recovering his form, but also with a team that doesn't come on the pitch thinking like every other side in the world right now. Everybody's got to defend. When you've got the ball, you've got to be aggressive with it as well. And you've got to be pacey. There's none of that at the moment, even though they have De Jong and Griezmann, Ansu Fati.
Right.
Ansu Fati is one of the best players right now. So there's still something missing. It seems to me that there's not a terrible belief in what the manager is doing right now, even though it was the players that wanted the manager to stay. And that means that there will be big results and bad results. Against Inter at home, Inter will make it very difficult.
Yeah.
Inter's trying to. There's a transition going on there. Conte doesn't want the side that when Inter loses the ball, they track back. He wants the side to just, put pressure high, just to put a step up and not back. And that takes a while because Inter is used to just defend very, very deep. Against Barcelona, they don't perhaps need to. They could trouble Barcelona in the build-up, but they also can track back and defend very, very deep, and Barcelona struggles with that right now.
Yes.
I just think the Messi factor will be important
and maybe even decisive.
Decisive against an Inter side that, of course, drew against Slavia Prague. Didn't play that well. Slavia Prague were very intelligent in what they were doing. It's just that Barcelona do not apply anything that they may have learned from their rival through studying it. It's all about what they do. And I think modern football, you need to have a bit more. You need to have a plan, not just a change of personnel, but a plan. And Barcelona, at the moment, don't seem to have it. But they have Messi, so I give them the 3 points.
All right, so there you have it. Chelsea, Ajax, as well as Barcelona, all to win then on Wednesday's Champions League fixtures. So thank you very much, Guillem, for that. And thank you to all of you. We hope you've enjoyed it. Of course, all of those games are going to be available on GentingBet.com. And of course, the two of us. We'll see you very soon. We'll see you next week when Guillem here is going to cast his eye on all things La Liga, Premier League, and Serie A.